Hey everybody, Tony D with a hot take on Brexit, I guess you'd call it, or the UK elections, I should say. Little Joan here, also in the house. First, congrats to the UK for finally pushing Labour out. I think that's a good thing. I think you'll finally get your Brexit, albeit in some other form, but that's the way things go, right? You expect things to happen in 10 minutes and it takes 2 days. So it was fun to watch some of the videos, especially Sargon of Akkad doing his live stream about it. And it was interesting to watch because their system is a lot different from ours. And it's very quaint to see all the candidates, you know, in each little district standing up, and they're all four of them together and they announce the results, and then the winner, shakes hand and then comes up and gives a little speech. Like, that's very quaint. I like that. I wish they would do that here, but of course, here there's way too much money. It's a whole big giant, parade of people, and I like the quaintness of the Brits, shaking hands with the losers, and they obviously they do a little bit of that here, but not like it was there where everybody had to show up. And they also have extra parties, which is nice. And some people from the Greens get elected, and Liberal Democrats, and they have the Scottish National Party and a few others. So that's always interesting. But really, the entire UK election seems to be a rebuke of wokeness. You think people are woke in the United States. Whoa, there's nothing compared to Europe and nothing compared to the UK. The police there are super woke. And that's been a huge problem there because, and not just in the UK, but other European countries, that the police are afraid to too closely investigate some of the immigrants coming in for fear of being called racist. And it's gotten to an extreme. And the thing is, it's a numbers game. No one's saying don't let any immigrants in. But what they are saying is, just like they're saying here, let's control our borders and let in the right amount of immigrants that can integrate properly. It's better to let in, say, 50,000 immigrants a year, and have them all integrate wonderfully, and have a good transition into citizenship, than to let in 300,000 and not really keep track of them and have half of them, on the dole right from the get-go. So it's about a more effective immigration policy with regards to Brexit, and it's about getting out of the European Union so the UK can have its own sovereignty, because the EU has really become just a bureaucratic monster that is very complex. And this is one of the reasons for Brexit. It's one of the reasons some of the other countries in the European Union are chafing under the control of the European Union. It's not as simple as, well, now we don't need a passport to go all over Europe. It's more complicated than that. It's about trying to centralize the management of multiple countries with multiple cultures and multiple issues all in one place, and that's the problem. Centralization is bad, especially in government, because government's already not great at things. And when you centralize it, you just put more burden on the government and say, go ahead and do all that too. And they're not good at it. So they have to make quick decisions. Some of these decisions are influenced by lobbyists and bribes and, just people. Humans are biased. So it's very difficult to get a responsive government unless it's small and people can monitor it. I live in a town of 1,900 people. We have a mayor. The mayor's not paid. We have a police chief, and we have a couple of council people. And you can go to the town hall, and there might be 30, 40 people at a meeting if it's crowded, and it's manageable. It's easy to, well, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's a manageable situation when you have a town of 1,900 people in the middle of New Jersey somewhere. It's not manageable It's not nearly as manageable when you have an entire country of millions of people. So smaller is better when it comes to management. It's easier to do. And so letting in fewer people will help. Not being part of the European Union will help. It's not a panacea. It doesn't mean all the problems are going to go away. It just means that it's going to be better managed. And the left side of politics constantly harping on that the other side is racist and misogynist and an enemy of diversity and all these things. It's very similar to what's happening here. Not as bad. Europeans are way more woke than the leftists here, but it's similar. And so it's a portent to what's going to happen next year to the Democrats here. It's likely they're going to be swept out of office. Trump is going to be reelected. And not only that, he will probably have a majority in both houses. So, and you'll have nobody but yourselves to blame, Democrats, because you push things too far. You know, you keep doubling down on the same bad strategies rather than say, you know what? You won 2016. You're doing good on the economy. Let's build on that. Instead, you're just trying to say everything Trump does is bad. And that's what was the strategy in the UK. So this really is a window into probably what's going to happen here. The UK and the US, they have a lot of similarities in that area. Boris Johnson's kind of like a Trump. He's fun. He's funny. He's a lot looser. He's a conservative, and and a conservative in the UK is different. A conservative in the UK is like a Democrat in the 80s here. And that's essentially what Trump is, really. He is really an 80s Democrat. He's not a conservative. He doesn't really believe in a lot of the conservative agenda. He's open, and the Democrats really missed that opportunity. They could have negotiated all kinds of stuff that the 80s Democrats would have loved to have gotten passed, and Trump probably would have been right on board with it if they just kissed his ass just a little. There's a way to deal with guys like Trump. You just say, hey, Mr. President, glad to meet you. You show him a little respect. That's all they really want. And even if you disagree with him, and at least he's not going to call you names. To go after Trump hammer and tongs was a dumb idea, just like it was a dumb idea in the UK. They were throwing milkshakes at people. We took that bit and used it for Wokistan, a novel. And there was also the Brexit Party, started by Neil Farage, which was basically a party dedicated to the one issue of getting the Brits out of the European Union. And that's what you're going to get here one day if you're not careful. It's a lot harder to have a third party in the United States, obviously, but it can be done. There are sly ways of doing it. I think one day you'll see, a libertarian in government. It'll probably be a Republican like Justin Amash, who then says, "Oh, I'm libertarian now. I'm going to put an L next to my name." Just like Bernie Sanders. A Democrat, but really not. He's really a democratic socialist or a socialist. And, he gets in, he's constantly being reelected, and it's fine for him to put an S next to his name because the Democrats are all going to vote for him anyway. So this is a warning to you, Democrats. You're going to go the way of the UK unless you maybe just pump the brakes a little. And just stop all these investigations. They're all a failure at this point. And just admit he won 2016, and censure him is about the only way you'll get out of impeachment and maybe save a little face. At this point, I think the Democrats are probably going to lose the impeachment vote at the rate they're going. So they don't even get the impeachment vote. They are done. They are really done. And if we're still talking about impeachment by the time the actual presidential election rolls along, expect a result like in the UK. Expect Democrats swept out of power. What little power they had left in the House, they'll be gone. Not all of them, but enough that Trump will own the House and his lead in the Senate will increase. And man, when you increase a lead in the Senate, You're talking, those guys are much harder to get rid of. John McCain was like impossible to get rid of. And you're going to have the conservatives of this country in power for a very long time because they're going to remember. And just like the Labour Party betrayed the working class in the UK to pursue rampant identity politics, you're seeing a very similar pattern here with the Democrats. They've abandoned the working people. Even Bernie Sanders talked to union guys about, well, you're going to have to give up your great benefits because we're going to have universal health care. That does not sit well with union guys. No changes sit well with union guys. And they don't want to give up nothing, Bernie. You have forgotten where your bread is buttered if you turn against the unions, Democrats, because those guys, I said this in a video a while back, I think Trump is going to take the unions from the Democrats. And then I don't know what they have left. What do you guys got left? What do you guys got left after that? You're going to have all these pockets of socialists, the Yang Gang and the Bernie Bros? Nah, you don't have enough people. So anyway, good luck, UK. I hope you get your Brexit very soon. And congrats on your fabulous election, pushing out the commies.